Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AKAAWOL. And today we're going to start this video with the Kumi. This is what I'm using for the loop and actually the tails on the particular bracelet, the smaller of the two. So that's right. Yes, there'll be two bracelets for the price of one in this video. This Kumi process, this is really easy. It's the bottom left goes up and the top right comes down. And then you turn, and there's even little arrows. See that on the disc? Even kind of helps you to know which direction you're going. So it's a bit repetitive. Not that tying knots aren't repetitive, but yeah, this is all there is to it, and it just goes around in a circle. And I believe that those are my wife's hands. I believe that the way she does it is she kind of counts how many times the first two starting colors that were on the number one, how many times they come back, and that's how she gauges how she's going to do a loop. Mind you, different kinds of styles have different size loops, so take that into account when you're trying to make it. Heck, you can use a Kumi to make the whole bracelet if you're so inclined. I mean, you know. But she's the expert at the Kumis. I just make bracelets, so let's get on with that. All right, so today's bracelet is all about honoring and bringing awareness to Alzheimer's. This is something that I never even thought about growing up, or for most of my adulthood, actually. My father died of a heart attack, and my mother died of cancer. So the thought of something that's just kind of long and drawn out, completely something I wasn't prepared for. But my father-in-law has Alzheimer's and my mother-in-law has dementia. So this kind of is really close to home. And November is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. And that is represented by a purple ribbon. So there's my purple string right there. And I am flanking it with these white strings and using the gray as a background. So it's one gray, then the white, then the purple, then the white, and then the rest is the gray, four more. And the pattern will be available over on AKAAWOL.com. I'm going to make sure that you guys have access to this stuff because I know that some of you kind of can work on it from a video and some others need to actually see the pattern. It's, I understand. It makes sense to me. I'm doing my little routine where I just loop over the bulk of the strings once, just to get them all lined up. This will make for a nice clean start. I also pin the furthest one out off to the side at roughly the angle the bracelet should be on. That, again, kind of gives it... Oh, look, there's Mr. Reddington, our newest addition to our family. He kind of pokes himself over there on that little tank off to the side. So, yeah, trying to learn how to not be as stressed. So I now have... his companionship to kind of keep me company while I'm working on the projects. The other thing is, and I probably haven't mentioned this before, but one of the more important things to bracelet making is having things that you look away from your work project from periodically. And the reason for this is if you stare at a certain distance for a prolonged period of time, it can actually be kind of harmful to your muscles that actually control your eyes. So it's best that you have things around you that causes you to look up from your work, whether it's like maybe a TV, to watch a show kind of in between the knots, or fish tanks, or whatever it is. Look away from your projects periodically, because staring intently at the same space it'll make you have to have glasses later on, or, worse. But, I don't know. I just wanted to let you guys know that's a thing. Let's get back to this. So, again, on this side, it's gray, then white, purple, white, and then four more gray. Mind you, if you notice, so this one here has 16 strands that went into the Kumi, but because I double it up, right, it's still like having 16 strings when you bring it all down, right? Now, later on I'll show you the lavender version, which, by the way, lavender represents the caregivers, which you saw there at the opening. Our caregiver getting a bracelet given to her. She was really she likes it so much she only wants to wear it on her days off. I think that's kind of cute. But yeah, it's basically I'm going to use the same relative method. The only real difference being that this one is doubled up versus a single. So I'll show you that later on in the video. And like this right here, it's just once over every string, and then the last one will get pinned up. But first, I need to bring these two middle ones really nice and close together and get that knotted, so that way, because that kind of sets the tone. That very first one, that's the cornerstone brick. If you're, know anything about building like a house or a building or something, they call it the cornerstone. From that, everything else basically works. So get this one right and things will be better. Then the rest of this row obviously plays an important part as well. And you can see it's pinned off onto the right-hand side, the direction I'm actually heading towards. And that just kind of helps, again, keeps my tension real nice, keeps those knots going in the direction that I need them to be in. So, and I started with the gray one first, just to kind of set things kind of going before bringing in the colors. I could have done that with 2 rows as opposed to 1, and that might have actually been kind of cool. I could have even done 3, because later on in the rest of the bracelet, I do give it 3 in between each one of the ribbons. So, and just a little tidbit of history here. Back when I was a kid, the song that actually kicked off this whole stupid thing was like a huge, huge hit. It was the tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. Was supposed to represent that, she still loved him, and he was going to drive by, and if he didn't see the ribbon, he was just going to keep on going and, never look back. And when he shows up, he sees the old oak tree that I guess somehow meant something to them, and there was 100 ribbons, and he knew that he was loved. So later on, people started wanting to take that whole ribbon idea and use it towards representing whatever ails them. So now there's not just the 6 colors of the rainbow, but like different shades of those colors now all represent different things that people want to have acknowledged. And this one just happens to be for the Alzheimer's. So hopefully you don't know anybody that's afflicted by it. Alzheimer's is really more tragic to the people around the person who has it than to the person who has it. And I say that with great confidence because I see how Dad can say something hurtful and then 15 minutes later have forgotten that he did it and wonders why, his wife is still mad at him or why she's got a tone with him. Because he doesn't remember it. He doesn't know why there's why are you talking to me like that? Well, it's because she's pissed. You just called her stupid, But I think it's more painful to everybody else around. For him, he just doesn't remember as much. He just, he kind of reminisces about the old days. And if you ask him what he did at daycare or something, he doesn't remember any of it. So. All right, so you can see how I am putting together this pattern. Again, I'm going to have the pattern online for you guys, so that way you can kind of follow along. Obviously, this is blazing through at lightning speed. I suspect most of you already know how to do most of this, and how it's a little bit tricky down there at the end. This white one will go all the way down and to that purple one and bounce the purple one to the right. And then that white one will bounce the purple back to the left, and then the gray will bounce the white one back out. It just kind of pushes it down just a little bit further, kind of helps keep them a little bit further spread apart. Because I kind of wanted it to be all about how the the ribbons. I didn't want them to be too close to each other. I think that would have kind of taken away from the overall look. And I'm sure there's other patterns out there for this sort of thing. However, I really think kind of making your own, sort of, there's something cool about that. Some kind of putting your own stamp onto it. However, I am making this available, so if you guys want to just do what I did, go for it. Like I said, there's different colors. If you actually look up, ribbons and their meaning, that you can pick your own cause and just change out where the purple is on mine and run with that. Okay, so there you can see I was already getting ready to start on the second one, which it repeats until it gets to the end. And if you take a look at my pattern, I only showed two. One is the top one is just keeps getting repeated, and the last one is how I basically come off at the end. I don't bother to put the whites coming around the purple. I just kind of let that run itself out. So now this is the thinner version. So likewise, I have my first is my background color, which is white. Then I use the gray. Then I use the lavender. Then the gray again. And then 4 more of the light ones. The Kumi, like I said, relatively the same thing. It's just half the number of string. But it kind of shows how you can have a variety to this. And I kind of wanted that. I didn't want to, I thought about the possibility that I could actually do this in 2 different videos, but I think that the cause of Alzheimer's and caregivers is really a hand-in-hand thing. Prior to having a caregiver here at home, my wife and I were the only ones dealing with 2 parents with both having dementia, and it might have been the most difficult time that I could have ever have imagined. It is no joke. Mom's form of dementia causes her to not be able to speak properly, and Dad can't remember. So she'll say something wrong. He'll can't remember why she does like that, and try to correct her and tell her that she's stupid. And then 15 minutes later, can't figure out why she's mad at him. So you'll notice I flipped over my little marble kind of board, so you have the cork side. And that's because trying to find white string on a white background is not very easy. So it's these kind of boards like this, super handy. Definitely suggest you get something like that if you can. And you can see, again, the pattern kind of flows the same way. Find which way is easiest for you. This is how I do it. But maybe, the way you want to concentrate on it's a little bit different. But being able to do long rows is definitely a faster way of getting things done as far as I'm concerned. So, see how that just kind of just moves straight down the line, right? Definitely easier. Oh, and I managed to get my string in a little knot there, man. That was not... those things really irk me. Okay, so here we have it. I made one for myself, and I made one for our caregiver that helps us with Dad. So the caregiver one has the lavender like I was talking about, and you can tell the difference. So this one had only the 8 strings going into the Kumi, and that gives it 16 strings coming down. This one had 16 strings in the Kumi, but the way I knotted it with it doubled up, you still have just the 16 coming down. So basically they're the same thing. You can just kind of get a difference for the size, right? So the thinner knots definitely look a little bit more delicate or whatever. It would be a lot more work if I was going to go and try to make it come down as far. But it turns out that my caregiver, her wrists are really, really small. So this is actually perfect for her. And you know what? I think we're going to go and give that to her. So hang on. Let's go do that. You're now on camera. Come. This is for you.
Thank you.
We made it extra special. Good thing I measured your wrist. Hello, YouTubes.
Hello.
Yeah, you're gonna be You're going to be on the video. Okay, so there it is. So now you get to cut these off if you like, or you can wrap it around. But that's it. So this is our caregiver. She is awesome. She saves us a lot of work. Without her, I wouldn't be able to do the videos.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Yay. Okay. I'm done.
Thank you so much, Mom, Kevin.
You're welcome. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for sticking around this long. If you really enjoy that, please consider subscribing to my Patreon account. I could really use the help. And until next time, don't get your strings in a bunch.